Hello and welcome to our second webinar in 2014 with the title ABB IBAS Tool. Before we start, first of all, my name is Thorsten Reibel. I will share this webinar as always with Jürgen, who is sitting next to me. ABB IBAS tool will be our topic, but before we start, some points I would like to explain a bit. As you have seen, we are working now on the TP Online platform, which allows us now to have up to 200 attendees. So the ABB colleagues, if you want, you can invite also your customers to this webinar. We had already this morning a session with a lot of persons. So this will be valid also for the next webinars working on TP Online with the possibility to invite also external external customers who are interested in. As always, we will send afterwards an email, a feedback email with all the information, the presentation itself, but also the recorded webinar file. So we will record this file as always, and it will be available then later on. If you have any questions in during the webinar, please write it down at the chat. We try to answer during the webinar. If not possible, we will collect all the questions and we will answer these questions then later on in the feedback email. Another topic at the end of the webinar, you will be forwarded to a further window, but I explain it later, where you can answer some question to finalize this webinar, and then you will be registered as a participant with a completed seminar, but at the end I give you some more information about this. Good. Content ABB IBAS tool today. We have split this a bit. Jürgen will start with a small presentation of the features of this IBAS tool together with the news, because there will be a new version available to the Light and Building Fair. And some components are new, which will be supported there. And Jürgen will show this in a presentation. And afterwards, I will give you a practical demonstration together with our training case, who is next to me. So we will direct our camera on our demo case, and you see real-time actions together with our KNX products, and of course together with this IBAS tool. Good. Then I would hand over to Jürgen. He will come over and we'll start with the presentation, and as explained, I will follow then.
The IBAS tool is a new and innovation software concept made by ABB only. What does it mean? This software works only together with our ABB KNX devices. And the main feature or the main purpose of the software is to support the system integrators during commissioning and service. We have a lot of KNX devices with status bytes and other things, and this IBAS tool gives really more information about the status of the hardware and also about the software application in an easy and transparent manner. So we can read, for example, the status byte not as a bit, as a clear text. So the IBAS tool works independently ETS, and it is an option. That means that you have still download the KNX devices via the ETS, set all the parameters, assign the group addresses, do the standard commissioning by using the ETS. And only as an additional option you can use this IBAS tool. So this IBAS tool does not change parameters inside the ETS, or you cannot assign group addresses via this IBAS tool. So we have no divergence between the ETS or via our IBAS tool. You can see here we need still our PC or laptop with ETS 3 or use the ETS 4. Download the ETS application, assign the group addresses, and afterwards via the other software, our IBAS tool, which can run on the same laptop or on the same PC. It is possible maybe for diagnostic or for checking your settings. The IBAS tool and the ETS can of course installed on the same PC or on the same laptop. So via the individual address or the physical address of a device, we can have access to this KNX device via USB or via IP absolutely independent, or maybe from outside the building via a VPN tunnel and access via the IP router or the IP interface. But we need the individual or physical address of the KNX device. So now when we are connected via the IBUS tool to our KNX device, we can see in a kind of visualization, or we call it in a device-specific plugin display, all the information, the buttons, for example, in red and green, or here in a clear text description, the values. And now, when we are connected with this IBUS tool, we can test, we can trigger, we can simulate some values or read some values, and we can additionally, for example, make some settings. Settings, but limited, maybe only, for example, for scenes settings. So we can drive a shutter into a position, and store this value maybe for a scene. We cannot change ETS parameters or group addresses, only maybe settings here for the scenes. So, and additionally, we get here clear information about our status bytes of the KNX devices, which is maybe a 1 or 2 byte value, and here really we get it as a plain text description. So with this IBUS tool you can test only the functions you have enabled inside the ETS. Now when you disable some function, like here for example in a shutter actuator, you disable the automatic control, and then here the field automatic control is grayed out. So you can test only all your settings and all your parameters you have enabled inside the ETS. The IBUS tool communicates via a special kind of protocol, independent the group addresses. So you have not to assign group addresses inside the ETS. You can do it, but this is not necessary. So now when you start the IBUS tool, you test your KNX device, and then you found maybe there's a mistake or behavior which is not correct. Then please go back to the ETS, check your parameterization, change the parameter, download it with the ETS, start the IBUS tool again, and then you can check it again if it's correct. So with this IBUS tool you can check all your settings, all the parameters of your KNX device. But one additional information, this IBUS tool uses the same bus access via the Falcon driver, which uses also the ETS. So it can happen that you get maybe a communication conflict. That's why we recommend at first close the ETS, start the IBUS tool, check your KNX device via the IBUS tool, and then close the IBUS tool and start again the ETS. Never run two software systems which uses the same Falcon driver like the ETS and the IBUS tool at the same time. Very important, of course, this IBUS tool is free of charge. So you have to pay nothing. It's very easy. You can download it from our website. And the software requirements, we have here Windows XP 32 or 64-bit, Windows 7 or Windows 8. So what is new inside this new IBUS tool? We have inside our so-called DALI tool software. This separate tool software runs up to now in a separate software, but now we have integrated it into our IBUS tool. This DALI tool software is necessary for setting of our KNX DALI gateway and the DALI ballast. Via the DALI tool software we can readdress DALI devices, we can assign DALI devices into groups, or we can display lamp or ballast failures, and it helps us for the commissioning of our constant light system, for example via the DALI light controller. So next new feature is our former software, the so-called IP firmware tool, is also now inside the IBUS tool. Via this discovery tool or the IP tool, we can discover all KNX IP devices in our network. For example, here we can find that the telephone gateway TGS 3.2, the IP router, IP interface, or here our new highlight, which we launched at a fair like in building, the new intrusion alarm system GM/A 8.1. This is also a IP device. So here in this list you get an overview about all KNX IP devices with the name of the device, the individual KNX address, the network IP address, and additionally also the MAC address. plus some more details here in this menu. Additionally, with this discovery tool, we can restart an IP device. So when you click on one IP device, click on the button restart, and then the device makes a restart. Or when you click on the button blink, and then the network LED of this KNX IP devices flashes. So, hint, some very important information. Our ABB laptops, they have installed the McAfee wire scanner and the McAfee firewall. And this firewall blocks the access to the IP network. You can disable the firewall when you click here on the McAfee icon, right mouse click, then a window opens here, and here you have the possibility firewall off. And only when this firewall is switched off, you can start a discovery tool, press on the button refresh, and then you will see all the IP devices. When you use another virus scanner, then please do it maybe in the same way like here. So the IBUS tool offers also a kind of demo mode. So without connection to the KNX, you can simulate all the supported KNX devices, maybe to show it to your customer or to see all possible parameters of a KNX actuator. So click here on the button demo, and then you get the list of all supported KNX devices. Select one device and press the button demo, and then you see a demonstration of this selected KNX device. So via this button help here in our main menu on the top, we get here additional a context sensitive help menu. So press here the button help, and then you get here really more details about this KNX device you have connected, about the features of the parameters here, and explanation. Or here, this is the DALI gateway. Here you get a description of all the different icons here, DALI failure, lamp failure, or so on. So please use really this help. It is a very nice additional feature. So up to now, till March, we supply the following KNX devices. Our DALI gateway DGS11, the DGS1161, and the DGNS, which supports the self-contained emergency converter. Additionally, our DALI light controller DLRA and DLRS, our standard 1 to 10 volt light controller LRS, the energy actuator and energy module SES or EMS, the complete range of our roller blind shutter actuator JAR/S, our new line coupler LKS 4.2, and the new power supplies with diagnosis function SVS 3320 or 640 milliamps. And of course, when we launch new devices, the IBUS tool, we will also get these new devices here inside. Be careful, not all former application or firmware versions of some KNX devices can be supported. For example, in the DALI gateway. When you have a DALI gateway with an old KNX or with an old or DALI firmware inside, then maybe this new IBUS tool can get no access to this device. Then please use the former separate IBUS tool, so the former DALI tool software. So how to work with this new IBUS tool? So here the first steps: download and install the IBUS tool. The next slides I explain it step by step. Adjust your settings, your language for example, then your KNX interface via USB or IP. Check maybe there are some updates available for the IBUS tool. Connect via the physical or individual address to a KNX device. Test and check all your parameters, your functions, read values, simulate some values, and test the complete KNX device. When necessary, then go back to the ETS, change a parameter, download it again, and go back to the IBUS tool and test your new settings. This is the overview how to work with this IBUS tool. So here the steps about the installation. You can download free of charge from our website abb.com/knx, and the size is about 4 megabytes. And this version will be available at the end of March to the Fair Leichen building. Double click the file, it's a self-extracting zip file, and then you get here a folder with all the files. To install it on your laptop or PC, double click this file iBUSTool.exe. Then an installation routine will be started. You have to accept the license agreement for the software. Ticket here, yes, I agree, and continue, and then the iBUSTool is installed on this laptop. So the first time when you start the iBUSTool, you see here the so-called starting window, with the possibility here to enable the help menu, to connect to a KNX device. With this icon you can check for new updates. If new updates available, then there's an online update in the background. So also new features when you start the menu settings. Click on the value menu. Then you get here a sub-menu. Press on the button here settings. Then we can change here the language. Now the new version we will launch, we have some more languages. Up to now we have German, English, and the new version will be here for French, Spanish, Italian, Russian, Dutch, and also Polish. So here in this menu you can change your language. The refresh display, we have the possibility automatic or manual. Automatic means the iBUSTool sends telegrams to our KNX device and reads out automatically the status and all the information. When you choose here the parameter manual, and then you have to press every time the refresh button in the iBUSTool. Default here is automatic. So here's a very important parameter: how many telegrams should the iBUSTool send to the actuator per second. For example, here default is 6, so it means the iBUSTool sends 6 telegrams to the KNX device and reads out the status or values. So we have additional bus traffic when you use the iBUSTool. So the iBUSTool is only during commissioning for testing, and afterwards you have tested everything, disconnect or stop the iBUSTool. When you choose here maybe 20 telegrams, then we have a high bus traffic. So be careful, use the standard value here 6. And here additionally, how many minutes after you do nothing, there's an automatic disconnect here from our KNX installation. So to set the KNX interface, we have the possibility to click here on this button when you have menu, ATS Connection Manager, or you go via the menu settings and then press here this button ATS Connection Manager. So when you have still installed the ETS on the same laptop or PC, then the window pops up with the ETS Connection Manager, and then you can see all available ETS connections you have still inside the ETS. So you can use USB or IP routing, or IP tunneling, what you have still used inside your ETS. When you have no ETS on your laptop, then you have to configure again a new USB or IP connection. So next step is, after you have done your settings, configured the IP, your communication, press here the button Connect, and then we can connect to a KNX device. We do it via the physically or individual address. That means you have to type here the individual address of this device you want to check or to test, and then press here the button Connect. Now when you don't know the individual address of a device, you can press the programming button of the KNX device and start here so-called scan mode. And then here in the menu discovered, you can see the individual address of the device with the pressed programming button. This is the same diagnostic tool, we have it inside the ETS. On the bottom here we have a nice slider. Here you can zoom in or zoom out, depends on the resolution of your laptop or of your monitor. So okay, here the individual address of KNX device, press Connect, and then this iBUSTool makes a point-to-point connection to this device. And in the first view you see here in a kind of visualization, your selected KNX device, with all your values, with the parameters, with the status, or your text description. So, but we are in a so-called display mode. It means you see here all the values, but you cannot send telegrams, or when you press your button nothing happens. You see all buttons are here grayed out. So the next step is you have here to press the button Select Configuration Mode, and then we can send commands to our KNX device. Here we are in the mode, in our configuration mode, and you see here all our buttons are now enabled, and we have influence to the KNX device. We can send values, for example here drive up and down the shutter or simulate wind alarm. On the left side here of the IBUS tool we have some pages, and these pages depends on the KNX device. Now here for example I have a screenshot of a DALI gateway, and then I can see here the parameters or the pages of DALI for all channels, for the groups, or here the screenshot in the middle. This is from our shutter actuator. Then we can see here the pages of all 4 outputs. It's a 4-volt shutter actuator, output A, B, C. Or here, for example, a screenshot of our energy actuator. Then we can see here the meter values, the metering or the values of the meter, or the status informations. So these left pages really depends on the hardware of our KNX device. So on the top here in this main menu you get more information about, or more details about your KNX device. At first here again the name DGS161, the version of the application switch dim groups 1.3. This is the ETS application, and here we can see the DALI firmware 1.8 for example, and the physical address of the device, and the name of the device and the ECU version. Here on the right side we get a number of DALI outputs, 1 output, 64 devices, 16 groups. Or here in the middle we have a screenshot of our blind roller shutter actuator. So we get here the name JRA/S for 200,000 51, the name of the application, and here the version 1.3. Or here the screenshot of the DALI light controller, here also the name of the application, and so on. So now here example of a connection to our DALI gateway DGS11, which allows to control all 64 DALI devices individually. So I'm connected here to the DALI gateway. Then I can see here the parameter of generally. It gives me some information about my complete DALI gateway, 2 channels, output A and B, how many devices are connected to my DALI output, here for example 9, how many devices are monitored. For testing, when I select later device, the brightness level for selected, unselected, and some parameter settings inside the ETS, maybe if the automatic addressing is enabled or disabled. So next step, to click here on the page DALI, then I see all my 64 or available DALI devices, DALI addresses 1 to 64, and the status of my DALI ballasts. Here for example DALI device number 1 is okay, DALI device number 3, red, and you see here a broken incandescence lamps. It shows, oh, we have here a lamp failure. Or the red cross here, this shows, oh, there is a ballast failure or mains failure at our ballast. Via drag and drop we can for example change or readdress the DALI addresses. So we press, take here my DALI device number 5, release it here on 14, and then this DALI ballast has now a new address 14. The same like we did it before in our separate DALI tool software. So here a screenshot of our DALI gateway DGS116, our group oriented DALI gateway. We see here again our general parameter settings, the same like before, and here the DALI output A, our 64 devices plus our 16 groups. So here we can do the same via drag and drop. We can readdress our DALI devices. We can test our DALI devices by pressing individual address, and we can also assign DALI devices into groups. So we press here, for example, group number 1, and press here the plus button, and then these devices are added automatically to the DALI group number 2. Plus additional features, for example, we can reset DALI ballast to factory values, or we get here more information, like here when we have overlapping groups. So on the main top, we have here again a button called so-called export. Now when we press here, we get the possibility to save all our 64 DALI devices with the DALI address, how many assignment, in which group this DALI device is assigned, and if it's monitored or not. So here example of the DALI emergency gateway DGNS. Yeah, we have the general parameters like the other DALI gateways. We have here DALI output A, our 64 DALI devices, excuse me, the 16 groups. Plus here you can see there's a green icon which shows a kind of sign like an escape route. And then we know, okay, this is a self-contained emergency converter. With this gateway DGNS we can monitor and test these converters. So via the page here, emergency converter, we can test this self-contained emergency converter. For example, here my DALI device number 1 is such a device. Here we can test, we can trigger the test. We have the possibility to select which test we want to trigger: a function test, a partial duration test, the duration test, or battery test. So we trigger the test, and after the test is finished we can click on the button show, and then we get here the result of our test. The DALI light controller, we have nearly the same DALI basic settings, output A, like the other DALI gateways. Additionally, we can, for example, change the behavior of a device when we select it, switching or dimming or blinking in this parameter, and later when we click on this device, for example, then it blinks or he switches or he dims. So here we can do the same. We can readdress our DALI devices or assign devices into our DALI groups. We get more information, for example, of our DALI gateway. If we have a DALI voltage failure, yes or no, or more than 64 devices connected to the DALI gateway. So more details are also here displayed in this device status. So such a constant light control system has to be tested and commissioned. It means we have at first to start a kind of artificial light calibration. Via this button here we can enable this calibration and do this artificial light calibration. Afterwards we have to do the daylight calibration, and we can use also here the same software tool. So for commissioning of such a system, our IBUS tool helps us really. So here a screenshot of our light controller LRS, the 1 to 10 volt light controller for fluorescence lamps. Here we have the same possibilities. We can test our output A, B, send values, and we can also here commission our light control system by using the daylight calibration or the night calibration. So here we can see a screenshot of our blind and roller shutter actuator JOA/S. For example, here with 4 outputs. So I have selected here my output number A, and then via these buttons I can drive up and down my shutter. I can stop. I can change here the angle of my lamellas, of my slats. I get here more detailed information, like a motor is in motion or the motor has an error. And via this button here I can simulate a wind alarm. It's like the weather station sends the command wind alarm number 1. I press here the button, wind alarm is now active, and then you can see the behavior of your shutter. Does it really drives in the position up or down? Depends on your parameter settings. Or simulate wind alarm and rain alarm, and test what has the higher priority. Or for example, we can here store scene values or presets, or we can simulate the automatic control, like here for example with sun and the position of the lamella and the slats depending sun or no sun, room is occupied or not occupied. So all these settings you have done in the ETS you can test here in an easy way via this IBUS tool. So our new line coupler LKS 4.2 is also supported by this IBUS tool. So it means we can press here on this page. It means from SL from the line to our lower level secondary line, we can see the parameter settings. What about the filtering of the group addresses? Main group 0 to 13 or 14 to 31. The parameter settings here is that okay, use the filter table or block or route. And the same, what about physically address? Are they filtered or are they blocked? For example, when you want to make a download from a main line into a secondary line and the download failed, what can you do? Start the IBUS tool, read out the settings here of your line coupler, and maybe you will see physically addressed here are blocked, and that's the reason why you cannot make a download from the main line into your secondary line. Additionally, we can also read out the filter table. It's like in the ATS, we have the possibility to have a preview of the filter table. Here, also possible via the IBUS tool. We can read out here all group addresses which are inside the filter table of our line coupler. In a 3-level way, like here 0/0/3, or in a 2-level, or when you use the free address range, then all these group addresses will be displayed in the free address range. So, and the power supply, the new one with diagnostic functions, you can see also some status messages. Supply voltage is okay, green, or maybe we have overload, then the LED becomes here red. And here the information, more overload, more than our maximum current. Or here you can see the bus voltage, the bus current, the operating hours, the number of startups. It means we have 14 times here maybe power failure. And so when you have here a high number, then you know, okay, maybe there are some problems with your main supply. So the energy actuator or energy module, we can see per our 3 channels, for example, the metering values, the meter, additionally the intermediate meter. Via these buttons we can start or stop the intermediate meter per channel, or here for the complete device. And via these buttons here we can manually switch on or off our channel A, B or C. On the next page, values, you can see, for example, the active power or the apparent power of each of the channel, the current per channel, the voltage, the power factor, and of course here the frequency of your phase. Good, so far a small overview from my side about the IBUS tool, the supported KNX devices, how to install the IBUS tool, and how you can work with this IBUS tool. Now I would like to hand over to Thorsten.
So, Thorsten back again. Hello. Jürgen just positions now our webcam to our training case. I would like to show something to you together with the IBUS tool live. That's my target right now. So I share now with you my laptop or my screen right now together with the IBUS tool. Let me show you some functions now live. I have prepared something in our training case with some components. You see the start screen right now from the IBUS tool, and have a look first of all to the slider in the lower right side. Jürgen mentioned it already. Allows you to adapt the resolution of the screen to your individual situation. So maybe later on you have to change it a bit if you cannot see everything on the same screen. Let's start. I go to the connect button. I go to connect to device. And I've prepared, for example, now the energy actuator. The energy actuator with a physical address 151. So prerequisite, of course, is to download minimum the physical address into a KNX device. Then you get already access. It does not mean that you have access to all possible functions. That depends on the parameterization. But first of all, the basic function should be possible. So 151, I connect now. So, and now I'm connected to the energy actuator, and you see already some lights switched on. So this is already connected to the channels of the energy actuator. And you have seen already some screenshots in Jürgen's presentation. The energy actuator allows you to display here the metering values per channel, and also the total value. And furthermore, on the upper right side, it allows you to switch on and off the channels. If I try to do this, it does not work, and maybe you remember I have to select first of all the configuration mode. It blinks also here on top here, select configuration mode, otherwise you have no chance to get access to the device. So very simple, you click on this, confirm the message here, and then all the functions are highlighted, and now it's possible to switch on. You see, I switch on channel B now, an additional channel, channel C, or I switch off channel A. So that's possible, easily. And furthermore, here you see the actual values. So output A has 277 watt-hours consumed at the moment. Channel B less, and so on, and here's a total value. I have parameterized in channel A of the energy actuator the intermediate meter. So you see here in channel A the possibility to stop and start the intermediate meter. I can stop this by pressing the red button. You see intermediate meter display or indication here. Normally green is not visible anymore. I start again and it's green. So it's an intermediate meter, maybe for the daily consumption in channel A. Further values, instrumental values are available here. You see right now it comes up. Actual power per channel or in total. So channel A has a lot of power at the moment, 165 watt. Current, voltage, and calculated out of this apparent power factor and so on, and including frequency. Furthermore, there is a status page available. Gives you additional information about the status of the channels. For example, in channel C, I have programmed in the ETS a time function, and it's active right now. You see it indicated here. So back to metering. There's an additional feature here, reset. Normally in an energy meter you cannot reset the metering. It counts all the time, and you cannot reset this. Here it's possible. So you see now actual values in all the channels. If I enable reset, so it's really kind of security function, you have to press twice a button here, and I press reset, then after a short time you will see everything goes down to 0. Takes some seconds, but then it should be active. Now you see everything is 0, including the total meter for all channels together. Everything is 0 now. Good, let me switch off the lights, otherwise you cannot see the other functions quite well. You see you can take action, you can see values, you can see status. All these things are possible with this IBUS tool. If you would like to connect to another device, you can connect only to one device at the same time. You go back, disconnect by this way the connection to this device, and you can choose another physical address to get connection to. Same way, and we will see something around the shutter actuator. So here we have a real small blind in our training case. There's a real motor behind. Now we are connected to the 4-volt JRAS shutter actuator in our training case. You see again, nothing is highlighted at the moment. You cannot operate anything. You go to the configuration mode again, and everything which is enabled via parameters can now be operated. You see, automatic control, it's hardly visible on the right side, and heating cooling automatic is not available, though in principle yes in this device for this channel, but not enabled in the parameters. Then you cannot operate this here. You see my screen is maybe not perfect. You can enlarge this a bit, you see, to see everything in the best way. What can we do? The most important thing is to run the motor. And if you can have a look, it's a small blind going down now to the end position, which is not very deep, but you can see it works. And you see also here the green indicator, it's at the end position. Let's do the same way up. Here is an information motor in motion. Another green LED or indicator will light it up. Other end position. If you run, of course you can stop anytime. Sorry, not working, just a moment. No, it works. I have to press correctly. So I stop in the middle, and if you have done this, of course you can run the motor also stepwise. This is known from the conventional KNX push buttons if you have programmed this. But you can simulate it easily here and test everything. Furthermore, I can simulate any security functions. Wind alarm, for example. If it's enabled in the parameters, a function you need, you can say, come on, let's see, does it work together with the wind sensor? And I simulate, I activate via the IBUS tool now the wind sensor. What has to happen? In my case, blind has to go up due to security reason, to save or secure the blinds behind. And as well, here over there you see weather safety alarm, red indication. It's active now. Consequence is you cannot move down anymore because local operation is blocked. Higher priority. I have to deactivate first of all. Or here, positioning directly, you can try, okay, 50% around. Let's go to this position. The slider will be moved to this value, and after you have pressed here, move to position. It goes nearly to 50%. Okay, it's not very precise mechanic here, but I think for demonstration, okay. Yeah. The same for lamellas, of course. We go to 50%, and which is, okay, no, that's the 50% position here. Yeah, or I store positions here, normally via KNX Telegram, via 1-bit communication object enabled. Maybe depending on the sun, you would like to run your blinds to a certain position. You can check this. If you have programmed this already in the parameters, you go to move to position. It's not programmed in my case, but let's set a position. You can store also position. You can do as well via KNX Telegram. So we do nothing else as we do with conventional KNX telegrams here via this IBAS tool, but the easy way. Yeah? So let's take this position. Maybe we change the lamella a bit, like this, and let's move or set this as a position. So it's stored now. Let's go up completely, and let's go back to this position. So move to the old position. I have stored. Okay, that's all. So especially here for the shutter actuator, a very nice, helpful or useful tool to test everything. It's channel-wise, the display here. Let's go to the second channel, and what do you see now? It's something totally different, because I have programmed channel B as a normal switching output, not as a shutter output. Means I have less parameters, I have more or less only on-off function available. And now I can operate this, but you cannot see the action because it's only LED, the LED on the shutter actuator, who is changing its state, but Jürgen will confirm that it's working now. So if I click on this, you cannot hear this, but we see on the channel B LED on the device itself, something is changing. So we operate the relay in reality. Yeah? You see it here visualized via this icon, this dynamic icon, but really something happens. Channel C might be the same as before as channel A, so normal shutter function. And finally, and behind all, you find here no option to operate something, but only a display of all situations, all 4 channels together. And to show you something, I go again to wind alarm. I activate wind alarm. You see the blind goes up again, it has to. And if you check this here, you see weather alarm is active for channel A, and the blind is in the upper end position. Correct. Visualized here. Okay. This weather alarm is valid for all 4 channels. You see it's displayed for all 4 channels existing in this device. Good. There's a question regarding Comfort Touch connection. Just to detect via the IP firmware part, no, it's not possible. Not yet, maybe in future, but at the moment, not possible. So it's also an IP device. No, not possible. So, anything else at the moment? Okay. Just have a look to my piece of paper here. The IBAS tool, we cannot guarantee at the moment that all old application versions and maybe also firmware versions will be supported by the IBAS tool at the moment. It's just still under construction a bit, and we will check, but you will get informed, and this will be then of course made transparent. Will come? Yeah. Okay, there's a question that or whether SAS switch actuators will be supported in future. At the moment we cannot confirm this, maybe in future, but at the moment nothing will be done in this regard. Okay. Good. If you close now the webinar, you will be linked to a further, let me say, window where you can answer some questions regarding this webinar. So please complete your participation by answering these questions, and you will be registered as a completed participant. If you miss this today, no problem, you will get a reminder in 1 or 2 weeks. And what is what I else would like to say is the actual, let me say, version we have shown right now might be a bit different from the version we will show on the Light and Building Fair. There are still some new components coming on the Light and Building Fair, and we will see what will be additionally maybe supported. Have a look, come to the Light and Building Fair, and yeah, there you might see a bit more. But this is a bit future still. Yeah, okay, so far. Yeah, then finally here a hint to our next webinar, end of April. We will inform you about the news of the Light and Building, of course. And yeah, the other public trainings we will have in summer and in autumn. Certified Advanced course end of June and beginning of July, and followed by the application training. And yeah, in October our yearly tutor course if you would like to become a tutor. Yeah. Okay, Jürgen, anything open still at the moment? So wait for our feedback email where you get the recorded webinar, including the presentation and questions or answers to the questions you might have. And yeah, we are looking forward to seeing you in the next webinar at the end of April. Thank you for your participation and see you. Okay, bye bye, ciao.